4.5. Questions 1 to 5. You will hear someone explaining how a machine works. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen to the talk and answer questions 1 to 5.
Well, the next stop on our tour of Bob's brushes is the production department, and I thought I'd just show you this. Each and every brush which leaves the factory has our logo on the handle. In the old days, applying them used to be a manual task, but these days it's all fully automated. It's called a logo machine, and at the moment it's set up for fixing logos onto the handles of 1.5-inch paintbrushes. Let me tell you how it works. The paintbrush handles are placed into a large metal container just to the left of the conveyor belt there, called the input hopper. This hopper vibrates, causing the handles to drop down a kind of funnel one by one onto a conveyor belt. This belt then carries the handles up into the main body of the machine. As they enter the machine, the handles move onto a rotating scroll. This rotating action realigns the handles and they are then carried along to the far end. At this point, they are transferred to the handle wheel. This wheel carries the handles up in an anti-clockwise direction towards a metal roller which is heated, and this is where the logo is applied. Now, about these logos. The logos arrive from the suppliers on a long strip of special paper wound round a big drum. It works a bit like putting film into a camera. You see, just to the right of the control station there, that's the logo strip payoff drum. There are about 25,000 logos on that. From this, the logo strip is then fed round a series of what we call dancers, but what are technically referred to as guiding pins. These are a very important part of the machine, as it's crucial to maintain exactly the right tension in the logo strip. Anyway, the logo strip moves back towards the handle wheel, and as it passes between the wheel and the roller, the logo is transferred to the handle. The waste strip, now empty of logos, carries on and is wound round the logo strip take-up drum on the far right there. And the brush handles? Well, after the logo is applied by the roller, they continue round and are unloaded through a special cylinder at the top left-hand side of the wheel, which blows them down a pipe into a waiting box at the back of the machine. Clever stuff. Fast, simple, efficient. OK, now, have you ever wondered about how toothbrushes are made? Well, in the old days...
You will hear a man giving a talk about a new office product.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for letting me come and talk to you today. My name's Bill Lohman, and as most of you know, I represent Acme Office Supplies. It's our job to bring you the very best in office supplies, and we do everything we can to make your working day just that little bit more pleasant. Now, do you have to move around from one part of the building to another? Do you ever wish you could take your desk with you, along with your laptop and other essential bits and pieces? Would be great, wouldn't it? Well, now you can with this, the mobile office. It's ideal for any situation where the user sits, stands, or moves about. Take a closer look at it. This is a ruggedly constructed, highly adaptable unit. At the top is a flat work surface where you can put your laptop computer and still have plenty of room for some files or documents. And you don't need to worry about your laptop accidentally getting knocked off because the laptop area is covered with heavy-duty anti-slip rubber. There's even an optional laptop cable lock available. What's more, you can easily rotate the surface to cater for left and right-handed users. Now, chances are you may have to carry around all sorts of other bits and pieces, pens, erasers, a stapler, a hole punch, etc. Well, the mobile office can help you out there too, with a storage option under the work surface. There are a range of options available, depending on the model, but they include a single utility drawer, a double utility drawer, or, as shown here, a pencil drawer. Now, some of us are short, some of us are tall. Sometimes we need to stand, others prefer to sit. So the desktop work surface is mounted on a fully adjustable stand. This means you can vary the height of the surface between 30.5 and 42.5 inches. The stand is mounted on top of a 5-star caster base, making the whole unit fully mobile. And if you are worried about the unit moving during use, you can also opt for locking casters, keeping the whole thing as solid as a rock. The next thing I'd like you to see is this. Now, if you've got a lot of confidential documents, you can't just throw them away because...
Questions 16 to 18.
I believe researchers are exploring the idea of a padded car to reduce injuries and accidents. Can you tell us something about what it will be like?
Yes. Well, the car will be covered in plastic cells filled with air, moulded round a conventional metal frame.
I see. So the plastic cells will allow cars to bounce off each other.
Exactly. And you'd also be able to see what's just behind you on the road because there's a camera mounted on the back.
Any other innovations?
The doors will open upwards and out, giving the appearance of a wing when open, and the wheels will go in all directions to assist in heavy traffic. And to guide motorists away from traffic jams and help them find a parking spot, the car will be fitted with a computer near the steering wheel.
Where the driver can see it, of course.
Yes. There's also a hook to allow novel parking techniques.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Of course, one of the things you'll want as soon as you open your account is a debit card. So I thought I'd give you a little tour of these essential little pieces of plastic. If you look at the slide, you'll see that on the front at the top, they tend to have either the name of the bank or the company which has issued the card. Then, a bit more than halfway down on the right, you'll see this hologram with a picture which appears to move as you move the card around in front of you. This sort of detail makes cards very hard to forge, although, like with anything else, there are people out there who'll try. Then, on the back, there's another of those sophisticated high-tech details, and that's the magnetic strip, which is this black thing going from one side to the other, which contains certain coded details. While we're on the back, you'll see another lighter strip with 3 numbers at the end. That's your security number, which they always ask for when you use the card for an internet purchase or over the phone, and it also has a space where you, as the cardholder, should put your signature so that shop assistants can compare it when you sign a payment slip. Going back to the front, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll usually find the bank logo, and just to the left of it, there's your own name in raised print. One thing you always need for telephone and internet sales is the expiry date. And on the card in front of you, that's just above the cardholder's name. Finally, in most places, you have to insert your card into a machine and key in your PIN. Just above the card number on the left, you can see a chip, and that chip is there to verify that the PIN you have entered is correct.
Now turn to Section 4. Section 4. You will hear a lecturer giving a talk on cochlear implants. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
The topic for today's lecture is cochlear implants, which are a relatively new form of technology for assisting people who are profoundly deaf. First, let's revise how normal hearing works. If you look at image 1, you will remember that the ear has 3 sections. The outer ear, or pinna, picks up sounds, which are then channeled through the ear canal to the eardrum, where they are transformed into mechanical vibrations. These are sent to the cochlea, or inner ear. Inside this snail-shaped tube, there are sensory hearing cells that have a variety of functions. The outer hair cells make soft sounds louder and reduce the volume of louder sounds. The inner ear cells transfer this information to the auditory nerve and thence to the brain, which interprets the input as sounds. This sophisticated and sensitive process allows us to process a huge variety of auditory input. For those who are profoundly deaf, the system functions poorly or not at all, and the brain does not receive the input it needs to process and interpret sounds. Image 2 shows how a cochlear implant works. You can see that the implant has 3 main parts. The first external part, behind the ear itself, is the microphone, and at the back of this you can see its associated speech processor, which is a tiny computer. This analyzes and digitizes sounds and sends them to the transmitter, which is worn on the head. Those sounds need to be converted into electrical impulses so that they can be sent to the cochlea. If you look carefully at the image, you can see that just under the skin, directly behind the transmitter, is a surgically implanted receiver. This receives the sounds from the transmitter. It converts these sounds into electrical impulses, which are sent directly to an electrode array that is implanted inside the cochlea itself, thus completely bypassing the ear canal.